Thinking like a team. I made a video earlier today with an example of how a man can get more sex from a woman because that's a common couple problem from chapter 4. But somebody took it to mean that it's always what the women want, it's always what the women want. So I'm going back to the same chapter and giving an example where the woman has to make a change. But guys, when it comes to sex, you absolutely have to try to get the woman turned on and find out what she wants. Because if both people don't want sex, it's not going to happen. And your woman doesn't owe you sex. She's only going to want to do it if you care about her pleasure. I make a lot of videos about the differences between men and women when it comes to sex. And, again, there's someone like, oh my God, it's always what the woman wants. No, it isn't. But both people need to want sex. And sometimes, actually, it's the woman that wants sex more than the man, and the man who's walled off and closed off. But anyway, so here's an example for the guys. Darlene and William are a couple that come in and they argue a lot, okay? So when you're looking at couples dynamics, you want to see their patterns, their relational stance, and it's called the more, the more. This is a couple in their 30s with a 5-year-old child named Serene. The more Darlene yells, the more William is angry, but his anger leaks out sideways because he doesn't take her on. He is what is called passive aggressive. So he acts out the feelings that he doesn't address through subtle put downs and nonverbal complaints. He's the long suffering, aggrieved party. And she just feels entitled to just go off on him whenever she wants, and that she yells a lot. And that's very damaging to the daughter. So they both have a part here, but she is the worse off one. Now, the first thing that has to happen is that the one down person needs to be empowered, and that's William. He needs to stand up to her, and the therapist will too. They're going to take her on. So now we're going to deal with William. So Terry tells him, I have a belief about passive aggressive people in general, and men in particular. Personally, I've never met a passive aggressive person who didn't grow up in an environment in which being openly aggressive would have gotten the snot kicked out of him. If not physically, then psychologically. That would be his father, Darlene says, shaking her head. Kick out your snot and a whole lot besides. Meanest dude on the block, just mean. You felt free to express yourself, I asked William. Not then and not now. He looks down at the floor. William, look at me, please, I say. He looks up. You've got to stand up to her, I tell him. You've got to be direct. I'll help you if you want. I'll walk you through every step. You didn't see this growing up, standing up for yourself respectively. He shakes his head. It's what you need now to get out of the cycle. I want you to be brave. Don't avoid. Steer into the storm. Will you do it? Will you learn? Without a cue, William turns to his wife, Darlene. Now remember, she's the yelling rager. But she's not grandiose because she's easily changed. Grandiose women are very hard to treat, almost impossible to treat, by the way. So William turns to Darlene. Listen, I'll be direct, okay? I don't like it when we fight in front of Serene, their 5-year-old daughter. It's bad for her. You need to stop. Stop yelling. I admire his courage and tell him so. And then Darlene says, I know, he's right. I take a moment to explain the concept of witness abuse. Children have no boundaries, I tell Darlene. They're wide open systems. When she hears you screaming at your husband, William, it goes into her as if you were screaming at her. I do the same trauma work with her as with a kid who'd been sworn at. So he gives Darlene some options. You can take a timeout, you can do an anger management course, you can try a little medication. And Darlene interrupts him and says, how about I just keep my mouth shut? I'm on it. 30 days, I tell her. You have 30 days to stop this, or one of you has to move out for a while. As we speak, you are traumatizing Serene. She's my priority, to be honest. Okay, you got it? Moving out won't be necessary, she promises, and it wasn't. So she was very quick to change, but she had to stop yelling. Guys, there's an example of a woman who had to change, and also the guy had to step up to her. In the other example with the couple, the woman had been too quiet. She didn't share what she needed to get turned on. She had to learn to use her voice, okay? And the man had to ask her what she wanted. So in one case, in the sex case, it was the woman not sharing what she needed. In this other case, it was the man not standing up to the woman, okay? So I'm not going to be able to give 2 examples from every book because I promised to keep these chapters to 5 minutes. But I don't want to create a space where men feel like I am saying women have no problems, women are perfect, because they're not. Look at Amber Heard. Look at Rachel Wood suing Marilyn Manson. Look at, there are a lot of psycho, bitchy, horrible women out there. And I didn't encounter them until in the last few years and in the news. But they exist. And so I'm not taking sides. This is an equal opportunity space. Nobody has the one-upmanship on being good, okay? Everybody is equally flawed. That's my view. And how can we learn to get along and be the best version of ourselves? That's what I'm trying to create here. So as long as you speak to me respectfully, I will try to address your questions. But if you start like going off on me or like not having healthy boundaries, I just block people. But I let you have like a little bit of wiggle room, because I know a lot of men come from a very wounded place. I have a brother like that. That's why I get you guys. I have a brother who feels wounded by women. They're out to get him, they're out to hurt him, and he has a lot of anger. But he's a very kind, sweet, sensitive person. And so I have a lot of compassion for men who feel like women are out to get them. It's just glasses that they're wearing, because it's not true. I'm not out to get you. I don't try to get men unless they're hurting me and I retaliate. But I'm trying to like be very impartial here. So maybe start looking for opportunities where women are actually trying to help you. You know, like the cashier at the grocery store, so you're not so guarded. Start seeing where women are helping you, where a teacher maybe was nice to you, or you know, a neighbor smiled at you, or just look for that. Try putting on different glasses, because whatever we believe is what we see. This video is too long. I'm going to try in my other chapters finding some examples that are more to where the woman is in the wrong, because I don't want guys thinking I'm just siding with women here.